There are aspects of like building a community, which is very similar to thinking about like managing a product, where you have personas that you're catering to, and personas are people who are attracted to community in the same way that personas are people who may be attracted to a product or service. And so you would think about like, what are those personas and what are the journeys that the personas go on? In building the persona journey, you are essentially trying to map what are the stages they go on, and are there pain points and also parts where they feel really positive emotions throughout that journey. Once you get to a point where you can build like a pretty good journey, and if your community is like catering to the similar types of people, so if you're like building closer and closer towards like community market fit, you can then say, I think these 4 or 3 or whatever are the personas I'm locking into. And this is typically where they feel like the pain points, the lows and the highs. And so rather than thinking about community as being just these like bunch of people like milling around in Discord, you're now thinking about them as like personas that are going through this journey. And obviously there are aspects of generalization if you're just trying to do it to like 3 or 4 personas, because obviously everyone's like different. But if you kind of go for the 80-20 rule, then you know that like you're hitting like the pain points and the high points. And so you can cater to those in a kind of scalable way. Because once you say, okay, I think like 80% of the people feel pain point here, for example, if they're new to Web3, new to Discord, it's overwhelming at the very start. What are things you can do? Maybe you do like an onboarding call for all of them, like, and that like dispels that problem there. So building the journey out and then iterating on that, and then kind of like getting to a point where you're like, okay, this is, I think, like the blueprint for how my community works. And then once you know what those points are, you can scale up those activities. So for example, one of the things I knew was that when people came into a community, they wanted to meet other people. So when the applications came in, rather than like trying to figure out, okay, like how do I get different people to meet, I kind of combined like my strat ops hat, and I took like the application that came in, and I essentially just like created these like massive Excel formulas. So I was like reading through the different tell me about yourself answers. That part non-scalable for now. And then every time an answer had like a keyword, for example, say like marketing or community or edtech or VC, I would create like a new column for it. So it would be like the VC column, and then it would be like, search this column. If you find this word, like flag yes. And so essentially I had like all these categories of different interests. And what was cool about it was that I just used the Excel formula, and then it just like filled it all out. And then we took that into like a directory for the community, and then people found each other using that. And so I think it requires a little bit of kind of more hands-on work at the start. But then in future, if I use the same formula, I don't have to do what I did before, provided that, I've iterated a couple of times and improved what I'm building out. So yeah, there's like aspects of it that can be scaled up, if that makes sense.